holidays, everybody. It is December. It is almost Christmas. Last night was the first night of Hanukkah, but last night, the most exciting night that I can remember.
Dear Santa, please let Alabama go blue.
And
it
they
did.
did.
It
They
did.
did.
Yes.
So you just told me a very cute, heartwarming story about you and your husband.
Oh my gosh, we were in the kitchen last night at 11 o'clock watching in awe as the returns came in and it was announced that Jones won. And it struck us that it was remarkable that a couple in Massachusetts donated money to Doug Jones's campaign in Alabama, a race that we never ever would have paid attention to before.
Right.
But that we spent money on it, we tracked it, we watched it. We didn't believe it would happen because we were so burned last November. And we sat in the kitchen and saw it last night. It was really, really quite amazing. I'm
And I
still
remember going to
verklempt.
sleep. I went to sleep in November, or not to sleep, but the night started, and I thought my granddaughter's going to see the first woman president, and that didn't happen, as we all know. Blah blah blah. But I remember that feeling of disappointment that I had, utter disappointment and despair.
And then a whole
I
year
felt the same way.
of becoming jaded and becoming
Right.
like I'm prepared if the jerk wins, and if he does, I'll explain it to my daughter, and it'll just make us more entrenched and more angry.
Yeah, and I felt so
But the good guy
elated.
won, and that's what I
Yeah.
told her this morning when she woke up. She said, "Who won?" My daughter's 8.
Yeah,
My daughter
yeah.
cares about the race in Alabama. She woke up and she said, "Who won?" I said, "The good guy won."
Oh, it's great. So this show is about presents and books and drinking, 3 of my favorite things. So that was a really nice present that we got.
I don't need any more.
I know, it's
Well,
weird.
I do. I need one big one, but that may
Well,
have to
what
wait
i-
for the
what's
new year.
that?
I need an impeachment would be lovely, with
Oh.
the big bow on it under my tree.
That would be this is not a political show, so we're not really saying exactly what we think.
It's actually always political. Everything is
good.
political.
It's good. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So what's new?
December ambushes me like every year. I'm busier than ever, making jewelry, working, trying to write some last end of year grants, trying to find gallons of clear glue so my 8-year-old daughter can make slime on Christmas morning.
Oh, is that a tradition?
No,
Oh.
but she asked for a gallon of white glue and a gallon of clear glue. And I've already gotten the gallon. Oh, Julia, she can't watch the show. Santa has gotten her a gallon of white glue.
Oh,
and,
very nice.
Santa is now a little desperate to find a gallon of clear glue.
There
Yeah,
you go.
Which I can find little bottles. But
Oh, I'll keep an eye on. I'm going to Michael's later. So reading anything good?
I am reading a lot of political feminist blogs.
It's hard to read everything. There's so many blogs to read, and there's so many newspapers to read, and there's so many good books to read. I have a really
What are you
hard time
reading?
with that. Well, I just finished A Gentleman in Moscow, which is a very lengthy book, and I did not think I was ever going to finish it for my book club tomorrow night, but I did, and it was terrific, and now I want to learn about Russian history, of which I know very little. So I said last year, and I say it this year too, I don't know how everybody gets things done from Thanksgiving to Christmas
Me neither.
with all the presents and all the cooking and things like that.
Parties.
But I thought of a great idea for a holiday gift this year.
Do tell.
Well, let me just say it has the word riddle in it. And we're going to come back from a break, and I'm going to introduce you to some people who may just give you your next good holiday gift idea.
Great.
Okay?
Okay.
We're back. And I use the word riddle.
You did.
Because we have 3 gentlemen here from Riddle, which is an escape room in Mashpee.
Yes.
Before we get started, tell me your names again.
I'm Graham.
I'm Rob. I'm DJ.
Okay, DJ. So, somebody, I guess you, tell us what Riddle is, what an escape room is.
So basically, we lock you in a room, and you have to figure out puzzles and like solve riddles to work your way through the room to try to at the end escape, or if you're in a pirate room, find the treasure, or whatever the end goal may be.
Slay the vampire.
Right, exactly.
And people pay you to lock them in a room.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so the object is to escape the room. How long do you have from start to finish?
We give players an hour.
An hour.
Mhm.
I will admit that I was taken there by my girlfriends from a birthday I had last month, and none of us escaped the room in the hour. And they gave us, I know that you did, extra clues to try to help us, because I think you knew it was my birthday, but we still couldn't get out. So is it something that you want people to work together?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
It's definitely, our rooms, we have 6 different rooms. They range in difficulty from Homeland, which has an astounding 7% solve rate,
Oh,
all the way up to, I'm gonna say Candyland's still in the 90s.
No, it's a 78.
Okay, it's
78,
dropping.
it dropped a little bit.
okay.
But we find in certain rooms, it really helps if you split up and work on separate puzzles. The main point being that you keep that line of communication open, because someone over here may have found something that connects to your clue. So you want to keep talking. But some of the rooms are best played as a group, and some are best played by splitting up and using your own brain.
How many rooms do you have?
6.
6. What are the themes for all of them?
Is it okay to say the themes on
Yeah.
TV?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure,
that's
okay,
fine.
good.
So we have Candyland, we have Vampire, we have Pirates, 80s, Paris, and Homeland are all 6.
What's the most popular?
Probably
Yes,
80s.
80s
The
are
80s,
pirates.
I
80s
heard
are
that.
Pirates, yeah.
Yeah.
What room were you in last week?
I was in Pirates,
No,
and
Is it like the light bulb joke? How many slightly inebriated middle-aged women does it take to unlock the pirate
Little
room?
sometimes.
yeah. There were 7 or 8 of us, and it was interesting though to see how people work together, how they don't work together. I started off working together, and then I got a little bit intimidated because other people were figuring stuff out and I wasn't. So I just stepped back and let the math girls work on it.
Sure, but I'm sure there was an element to that puzzle that was all you. We find that there's we advertise age 6 to 106, so we have 5-year-olds come into the rooms. Like, for example, I had a group of Girl Scouts come in and take on Mission Homeland, which is that really challenging room, and they made it surprisingly far on their own, because it's not about book smarts or street smarts. It's about thinking outside the box and using your imagination.
Did they crack it? The
No.
Girl Scouts?
Oh, they got so close.
Oh,
We had a group of Navy SEALs fly through the room in about 45 minutes, but I think they're training.
That might have helped a little bit with some of the puzzles.
Is that the record?
Probably.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Who designs them?
The owners, Nicole and Ashley. Ashley, who also owns Hot Diggity in the Commons over there. Little plug.
Okay, yeah,
You're
sure.
welcome, Ashley. They hired someone from, I believe, Bucharest, if I'm even pronouncing it correctly. But they hired a team that does this for a living.
They're very, very popular. They're all over New York City. I hear, and all over the place,
Yep.
right?
Yep. We are the only one on Cape Cod as of
Yes.
right now.
How exciting.
So that is a
Fixture.
fabulous, fabulous gift for the holidays,
I'm
right?
probably- So my family can't see the show. They can't see this whole show because I'm going to get a gift certificate for my
They
husband
can't-
and
they don't
daughter.
get to
And I
watch
guess
it.
and I guess I'll go too. But I thought it was scary. So
Oh.
so I'm
What
delighted
part,
to know
what
that
part
it's not.
scared you?
I couldn't do haunted houses when I was a kid,
Okay,
and,
okay.
Oh,
and
it's not like that,
is it?
no. So like the idea that I'll be like so if you don't crack it, they don't just keep you locked in.
Of course
No,
not.
no.
I just got out yesterday. I've been there for 2.5 weeks. It's amazing.
And we do have players that come in that are a little hesitant, that have never heard of it or have seen it, and we ease their mind. There are no live actors in the room with you. There are push to exit buttons should you start to feel claustrophobic, which is rare, because when
Yes.
you're in the room and your brain's on fire, there's that hour goes by really fast.
I would want to get in that room and like demolish my husband and daughter in Clue
We
Gathering.
love some
Yes.
healthy or unhealthy competition.
I am totally gonna smack them down.
We're all
in
about
January.
that.
So when are you open? Because people might want to come down and get gift certificates, or they might want to just go and do a little
Sure.
evening. What are your hours?
So on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we open at 5, and we're open until 10 is our latest game. On the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, we open at 10, and we go the same way.
10 to 10. Yep.
Yep.
Fantastic. I won't reveal what it is, but I hear your gift certificates are given in a very cute, riddle-like way. How
Any
fun.
chance of a franchise down Cape?
You never know. Ashley her gears have been turning. She's definitely thinking, I mean, in the future, maybe even Martha's Vineyard. You never know.
Oh, that would be a great
Yeah.
idea. And I'm available to work one of the rooms.
Well, that would be wonderful.
There you go. That'd be
When you're hiring
fantastic.
live
And see,
actors.
as game masters, we have a chart in our room that rates us from spicy to mild. So when you're playing a game and you have a spicy game master, they may not hold your hand through some of the
Spicy
puzzles.
Oh,
Master.
really?
Yeah.
Maybe a little
Betsy
jarring
Spicy
with
Game
it.
Master.
However, the three of us, you wouldn't believe it, but we're on the more medium mild side.
Really?
So we might give you that extra clue.
I think I might have had one of you when I was there. We got a lot of extra clues. Well, thank you. Go to Riddle in Mashpee Commons. Buy a gift certificate. It's so much fun. You'll be
I'm
down
getting
more.
one.
Yeah, that's
Can't
great.
wait to see you guys.
Right on.
See you there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. We're now going to do a favorite thing of both of ours. We're going to do something about reading and writing because we have a very exciting novelist and screenwriter from Cape Cod that we're going to meet after our break. Awesome. Thank you. We're back, and I'm so excited that we're with a novelist and screenwriter, Kathy Aspin. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
You did it fine.
Good. Happened to be at the Cotuit Center for the Arts a couple of weeks ago, and you were there promoting a book that you've just written. I said, do you want to be on TV? You said yes. We had a chance to talk, and I learned a lot of really interesting things. Number one. Number two, I'm very humbled to be here with an author and screenwriter, an actress and writer who I take a writing class with. So I figure you guys are going to be able to teach me all about writing and how to write a book I want to write and stuff like that.
In half an hour, we can do
Yeah. Well, we probably
You're
have
a
a lot
natural
less time
writer,
than that.
Bets.
So
You are such a natural storyteller.
Okay.
that. That's what I told her. The first thing is storytelling.
Yes.
You can tell a story.
You're
You
so-
I can
write
tell a
story.
You're so
story.
good at it. You just told us one before we went live. Yes.
No,
Absolutely.
It was inappropriate for the air. Anyway, Kathy, tell me about where you're from and how you got into this writing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm from Cape Cod, and I've always, and a lot of writers have always been writers. And so you either identify yourself as somebody who's quick to write anything, whether it's a poem or a story or a really good condolence letter. Some people identify themselves as writers, and other people even can be fearful of writing. So writing my whole life was normal and natural, but I did kind of amp it up into high gear in my 50s when I started back to college. And
In your 50s, you
in
started
my-
back to college?
Yes, I just turned 50, so it was 10 years ago. And now everyone knows. And but you start to write a lot. You have to write term papers, you have to do a lot of research, and it was like finding my joy again, even though it was really difficult. I was taking anatomy and physiology and biology and things that I only had kind of a folklore understanding of, tissues and, everything.
What were you studying?
I thought it was interesting. So I wanted to just finish, I had a psychology degree, I wanted to finish that. I had taken a lot of the really awful things right after high school, like I had calculus behind me. I don't think I could have gone back to school if I had known calculus was ahead of me.
right.
But then I took biology, so you may as well take calculus.
Well, they say college isn't for the young.
It really isn't. You almost have to have a base of experience in order to understand the concepts that you're presented with, or to get the full richness out of a class.
That's what I think, too.
You don't even know enough to ask the question when you're in a class that, or I didn't at 18 years old. I didn't even know what I wanted to do at 18. I knew a few basic things. I went to college to be a medical secretary, and so that's what I did. And then
What a modest ambition.
a medical secretary.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and it was
back
fun.
in the day, yes.
And it was fun, but what it meant was really, and forgive me, everyone I ever worked for, really bad pay, long hours, kind of
Boring.
thankless and boring, except the people were interesting. And then when I got married and we decided to start a family, I knew that I wasn't going to be away from them for 40 hours a week in anybody's office. So So I went back to school when my kids were little to get my hairdresser's license. It was something we had done for generations in our family. I was already doing it in my kitchen.
Yeah.
So I got the license and eventually owned my own salon for 20 years.
Were you still writing during all this
So I
time?
was still writing during all this time, and I actually was looking back after you and I spoke, some of the things I had originally written, and yeah, it was not terrible.
I'm glad to
up.
hear that.
It holds
Yeah.
up. But anyway, so when I went back to school, I also at the same time started taking writers classes at Cape Cod Writers Association. They have a conference in the summertime, and at that time it was held at the Craigville Beach Conference Center,
That lovely conference center.
which is wonderful. And it had, 2 plugs. So it was really old school. It wasn't, so they wouldn't show you a bunch of PowerPoint presentations and do 85 movies. It was a screenplay class. So it was, here's your objective. This particular movie should have had this one scene in it. You've got 10 minutes to write the scene. And so having not written before for any kind of screenwriting, I just blustered my way through it. And the instructor said, when she was reading all of them, we had to pair them off with other students, whatever. And she said, well, that's the one I would have put in. And I was just like, oh my gosh, yes. And I had said this to you the other day, the concise way that you write for screenplays was wonderful training for the novel. But what I loved about it was that you were using the fewest words that you could to create the largest picture that a person can see or absorb from you. And don't you find that that's where you kind of have that, okay, how can I make this so that I can make one gesture or one movement and you will know something about the history of a character, you'll know what their thoughts are at that moment, you'll know what their next move might be or
Something
not if they're trying to
Tiniest
confine
gesture,
it. The tiniest little gesture.
Were we talking in writing class about, a writer was describing her mother and how she flicked a little bit of tobacco off her lip.
It doesn't take much.
And it painted such
Yes,
a picture. It just
exactly.
filled in so much in her
Exactly.
paragraph.
Right,
Like we knew
right.
exactly who she was talking
But
about.
it definitely satisfied my puzzle mind.
It did.
Because I'm somebody that wants to, I'm digging at things. I mean, I can't have a cup of tea without the tea bag looking dissolved and exhausted at the end of it. It's just terrible. I'm exhausting to be with, I want to say.
But in a good way.
In a good way. Well, I used to think high maintenance meant I wanted jewels. And then I gave it like a second thought and went, oh no, you're high maintenance. You're going to ask the questions that nobody's asking and you're going to need to know the answer. And when you say to somebody, blah, 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 and they say, oh, I don't know, and you think, that's it? You left it at I don't know? We've got Google, we've got Siri, we've got
You're missing
Alexa
so
now. We can
much.
just yell it into the room and somebody's going to tell us the answer. So, anyway, back to where I started with the book.
You're
So-
the screenwriter.
I know. So the screenplays. So I ended up finishing a screenplay that I was working on, and this screenwriter, Jules Selbo, who was also a professor at Fullerton College in L.A., asked me, she said, hurry up and finish it. I want to take a look at it. And she ended up forwarding it to Craig Anderson, who was doing a lot of movies that were in the same genre, which was romantic comedy, which is what I'd first written. And actually everything's a romantic comedy. Even a dismal drama is a romantic comedy.
Okay.
There's romance.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
romance in NCIS. But so
true.
it is true. Like everything comes down to who do you love, who do you hate,
Right.
which is a romantic comedy. So anyway, it's so funny that I'm telling you this, but because I hadn't really thought about that. But yeah, it must be true. So when she forwarded it, he said, "Well, I'd be interested in having a conversation. When is she coming out to LA?" And I said, "Now."
And that must have been very
Wow.
exciting.
Oh, I was
mean, that's a little
so
far from Cape
excited,
Cod. Yeah.
so excited, and it happened to be during a Super Bowl game, and so he invited me to his family Super Bowl party, and my friend who was a screenwriter, who actually I was trying to think of what the name of her book is. She just wrote a novel too, and but it's Jules Selbo. I'll put a plug in for that.
Okay.
And anyway, so it was this great time, and he said to me, "Okay, so your screenplay. What I'm looking for is a very rated G Hallmark kind of movie, and I love the concept of your movie." And I was like, wait, my movie is about Grace Mitchell, who at 49 years old has written a scathing self-help novel entitled Act Your Age, Stop Wrecking Your Life by Trying to Stay Young. And she writes it because of a bad ex-husband thing where he has an affair with a woman. Anyway, and then
Blah,
she
blah,
goes
blah,
out, blah, blah,
romantic
blah,
comedy.
romantic comedy.
Yeah.
But she goes out on book tour and she falls in love with a 38-year-old plastic surgeon. And then, throw some more stakes onto that, she finds she's pregnant. So, what's Hallmark about that? Like, there's almost
that's all Hallmark.
nothing about that that's Hallmark. And so, anyway, we
My
started
mouth
talking.
is open, yeah.
So, but the rewrite turned out to be just as funny, and it was that the stakes don't have to be as high. It doesn't have to be that they had a love affair. It doesn't have to be that she got pregnant. It can simply be that she has said everything to the world about, her beliefs on younger men dating older women and women, leaving their husbands and men having affairs. And then she's on this book tour saying all of this, don't have plastic surgery, whatever. And then she finds herself in love with a plastic surgeon. He doesn't even have to be much younger. So they were like, condense the age. And so by the time I kind of wrung out everything out of it, it was still a good story. But anyway, so since then, there's been a couple of, I've written a couple of feature-length screenplays, and I started writing shorts, which were really fun to write. I have one that I called, which is a title that's already been used before, but Trilogy of Terror. It's about 3 bad marriage situations. And one of those was called The Solomon's Dog, which the Solomon's Dog, look, we're not even going to talk about my book, which is fine, because I love my
Talk about
screenplays.
your book.
No,
Very
I love my
shortly.
screenplays.
Good.
But Solomon's Dog was about a marriage that is separating. So a couple has 5 days to separate all the assets, and you can imagine how it ends. It's a little bit of a dramedy horror. But we ended up filming that with a group of people from Cape Cod Community College who were in their film class, but digital something film class. And we ended up calling ourselves JJ Backer because it was all of our initials put together, including the dog Eddie. And then we threw it out to a few film festivals, and it ended up in the 15 Minutes of Fame Film Festival in Orlando, Florida. So anyway, after going out and doing a few of these things, all of a sudden I was like, you know what you want to do, just do it. So I sold my business.
To your
And-
daughter.
To my daughter.
I read that.
Which I'm,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I know.
nice. Yeah.
I mean, I had to create my coworkers by giving birth to them,
Right.
and then paying for expensive colleges, and then having them come back and become hairdressers. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
So in the end, I got to sell the business to them. It was kind of fun. Oh God, they're going to watch
So-
this interview.
Let's talk about your book, because I told you I was reading this lengthy other book, so I just started it last night, and my husband told me that I woke up with this book flat against my face because I must have fallen asleep reading it because I didn't want to put it down.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm gonna
that's
grab
the
a
best
glass.
thing.
Baklava, biscotti, and an Irishman.
Yeah. So the best thing about it is the number one compliment, and I don't care if you love it, hate it, whatever, is I couldn't put it down. That's my favorite compliment to hear from anybody. So when I started writing, I sold the business in January of 2016, January 1st. And on February 5th, I began writing this novel. And it began as one paragraph about the nature of soul connections. I could read the paragraph, but that would take the fun out of it. When you meet somebody, and you, whether it's a love relationship, a friendship, a man at CVS, does your soul recognize their soul? And then it's game over. You're almost powerless to make any real changes. Does it set a perpetual motion that you can't really change? And so our infatuation's not I'm meeting you, it's that my soul recognizes how we're supposed to fit together. And so I, as a human player, can only just work within the confines of what the soul wants. And I know it's kind of an old theme, but it was like this for me. All of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, so all those people that, that are in good relationships, bad relationships, whatever.
What about the flip side of that? My soul recognizes that Whoa.
Oh,
I
no,
can't
I
be- I
think-
can't be
So
near you.
your soul
That's right.
recognizes that
That's right.
and also realizes how they're supposed to fit together, or not.
Or not fit
Or not,
together,
and
yeah.
that's
Or
okay.
never fit
Yeah.
together,
Right,
That gut feeling
So-
when you meet someone.
Exactly, and everyone has that, and some people ignore it or they chalk it up to, oh, it, you know, it doesn't really matter, you know, or give them the benefit of the doubt. Well, sometimes you meet somebody and you can't give them the benefit of the doubt because you know they're not going to be your person. They're not going to be in your life for long, whether it's, you know, a coworker, and you just know that they're not your cup of person, and it's a gut instinct. And so my couple in this meet under a circumstance that is quick and fast. She is a woman from Neomachri, Greece, and he is a Navy medic at the end of the Vietnam War. And when they meet, he's 20 years older than her. He's dated tons of women. He's not even interested in getting married.
I
He
love
thinks,
how you're talking about him as if he's somebody that you
oh,
know.
they are more real to me than
Yeah.
Well, and they've definitely let me know who they are
Right,
as time has
right.
gone on, because when you start writing, you might have an idea and then they evolve in a way that you hadn't planned, and you think, oh, well, great, that's what you want to do. Now I have to research that.
So the best stories happen. You
The
sit,
best,
you sit
yeah,
down to write,
right.
and you end up, when you're
Well,
done, oh, that's not where I thought that
See,
would go
you're
at
the
all.
same way. I was saying to Betsy that you can be, as a writer, you can be an architect or a gardener. And an architect builds a story and then writes it out. They know where the climax is. They know what they know what it's going to look like. And then they let it all, they build it. And I'm sure there's a lot of creativity and a lot of morphing as things go along. But a gardener will plant a seed not knowing even if it's a daisy or a weed. And then when they throw that seed down, all of a sudden it just comes up, and and the story takes over the writer as opposed to the writer taking over the story.
So you're a gardener.
I'm a gardener. Oh yeah. Are you a?
Sometimes I think I'm like an interior designer,
Oh.
or a chef,
Yeah.
or a
But are you a chef that has
facilitator?
10 ingredients in, and then you're going to figure out what to make with them?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
so you know
never,
your
it's
10
like,
ingredients.
I'll go in. I'll know my beginning. I'll know my anchor point, and I'll have
Oh,
a rough idea of the
You're an
end.
architect.
Oh.
Maybe I am.
You're an architect for sure.
But those in between, so, but I
Maybe you're
a
I can
gardening
identify those
architect.
points, and then, but then what happens in between, so how I get to the anchor,
Yeah.
and then how I create the arc to get to the finale, is always a mystery.
Right. So yeah, you probably are both then. But I mean, definitely the fact that you even knew where your ending was. I mean, at the end of part 2 in this, in where I viewed the ending to be, I
Don't give anything away.
I laid on the floor and sobbed for a while. Said, "Oh, my book is done."
And when was your book done?
It was done 5 months after I started writing it. So
amazing.
I just wrote obnoxiously until it was finished. And
Not
I mean,
obnoxiously, you
oh,
wrote with
Christine,
passion
I
and
didn't
commitment.
floss my teeth.
Oh,
I don't remember where my blow dryer was. I'm pretty sure there were days I had the
you-
same clothes on.
I
and
think that's fantastic.
so you wrote slovenly.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
the other day somebody asked my daughter so is your mom really immersed in the second book? And she said, well, I don't think so. She's still showing up on time, and her hair looks like it's been done, and I think she had mascara.
Oh, that's great. So it really
So,
took over your life.
Yeah, it does.
Right,
You don't floss
geez.
your teeth. I mean,
Right.
it's just, it becomes, and especially when you write in a way that your book is unfolding as it's being written.
Can't wait to get back. to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'd go to sleep thinking about my characters, and then I'd
Can I sleep
wake
less?
up.
Can I sleep less?
Yes,
Can
I'd wake up
so
at 4 o'clock in the
subconscious,
morning.
Could you do some writing while
Exactly, that's
Yep.
what would happen, and race to the computer, and then, or even days that I didn't wake up like that, even a day that I'd write in the nighttime, all I'd have to do is read the last 2 paragraphs, and I was in the
you were
story
back
like they
into
were
it.
more real to me than my family, which.
So
they
how's your
hate me.
marriage?
So my marriage is actually, my marriage thrives on neglect. I think I wanted to, that whole thing where I was going to like kill the tea bag. I'm pretty sure that I could do that, if I given too much time. My family likes me to have a big, hefty project.
Because it keeps you out of their hair.
It keeps me out of everyone's hair.
Literally.
And I mean, I'm not in their hair. I'm more like in angst about something. They're like, oh, look, Mom seems fine. We haven't seen her for a couple days. But I wrote this in a cottage that I moved from Chatham to my property, at my kitchen table, 10 feet away from my husband, and we're still married.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, okay.
I might
And when I
add-
read about your writer's shed,
Oh,
what do you
Yeah.
call your writer's shed?
it's my studio.
Your studio.
my she shed. I joke
Your
about
she
it.
shed, yeah.
I make all my jewelry
Oh,
there.
I was
and
drooling.
and write
I
there.
was just,
It's
then I
an-
became obsessed about that. I want
It's
my
an, I want the shed. It's an 8x10 shed, and oh my gosh, if
Yeah.
I have a hammock in there. If I have to, I have 2 big hooks. I have a little space heater. I don't have a mini fridge yet. I don't
You're
think
getting
I'll
a
get
mini
one,
fridge, yeah.
but I do want to build a porch onto it.
You could have a cooler instead of a
And-
mini fridge.
Maybe,
That
but
would be-
I go out there and so I have a beautiful workbench for all my jewelry, all my bracelets, and then I have a beautiful oak desk.
Yeah.
And both like I just love to arrange them and prepare like a nice mise en scène and mise en place, and like when you cook, like you have to have all your ingredients and all your things out,
Yeah.
and so there's nothing more gratifying than arranging my workbench or my desk and sharpening pencils and getting prepared to take that deep dive.
Wow. So now you are different than I am because I
Right
could
now.
sit in squalor with the dishes piled up
No,
to here
no,
and
no.
push the bills out of the way. Just
No.
literally push the bills out of the way off the table, slap that
I'm
laptop
a
down.
lead.
And you're not a lead.
Huh? Okay. stop. You're both making me want to write.
Good.
Which is a good thing.
Good.
And we don't have that much time, but I do want to tell people that you have a blog. And they can read all about some of your adventures
Yep.
on your blog. You're willing to come to book clubs and talk.
Absolutely. One of my favorite
So
things.
I'm hoping to get you to come to my book
I would
club,
love it.
which is
Oh,
right
awesome.
here on the Cape, and that could be our next book. And anything else you want to tell us about what's coming up for you? There's some award in your life.
Some
Or
award.
some- yeah.
Wait, what did I lie to you about? when we talked?
Didn't you have a book or a screenplay that was
Well,
up for?
No, this
Is it
actually is it actually was a finalist for the multicultural fiction category of International Book Awards. That happened a few months after
That's nice.
it was published. Oh,
Very exciting.
really nice. It took a little bump in sales and interest after that, which I was thrilled about. But it's, I want to say more than anything else, don't be intimidated by that. It's just a really good read.
Well, it's great, and you can get it on Amazon
And you can
or
get it
at
on
any
Amazon,
bookstore.
yep, in the bookstores. You just,
Great.
look my phone up in the, call me.
Great, another
Yeah, very
great
exciting.
holiday gift.
Oh, absolutely. It's a
Right?
great gift for mothers and daughters to give to each other because it really does have everything from what a young woman might go through to what it's like to be in your 60s and realizing and looking back in your life.
What
So,
about men reading this book.
oh, my men
Mothers and
have been.
daughters,
So
what?
one of my reviews on the book is, on the back cover, is from a man because I have had, in fact, this man, when he did read it, he said, "How can I get more of these books?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, this kind of book," he said, "it had action and interest and emotion." And I said, "Well, you can start with not looking for a cover that says, he was shot in the back and I have 2 hours to find the killer." I said,
Don't,
there's
so
a
those,
lot
the black,
of...
the black covers with the gold writing,
Yes,
with the
and
red,
the blood red
yeah,
lip
don't
kind
buy
of thing.
those.
Yeah,
Don't buy
you don't have to
those.
do that. There's a lot of wonderful, wonderful
Or
books
you
that
can get
are...
a jacket that looks like that if you're a little,
Right.
if you're embarrassed to be
Exactly.
reading
I mean, one of my
a
first
woman author.
readers is a man, my friend Bob Beavis, who is so critical of me and anything he doesn't deem perfect. And
This is
so,
a friend?
Good friend.
Sorry, Bob.
What?
And when he read
Hey,
it,
Bob, get
I
woke.
know. And he said to me, "What am I reading this for?" And I said, "Well, because you're my friend." He said, "No, no. What am I reading this for? Am I correcting the grammar? Am I reading it for content?" I said, "Well, first of all, let's start with likability.
Enjoyment,
Does it keep
right.
your interest enough that you're not going to take the book and throw it behind you like you do with a million other books?" And he actually, when he was critiquing it, wrote on a particular page, "This is where I cried." Now, that to me was bigger than International Book Award.
Well, Kathy, thank you so much.
Oh.
We're going on to our last guest, which you'll be interested in, because from reading your blogs, I saw we were both interested in wine and drinks. And our next guest, who was with us last year, is going to do some festive holiday
About
drinks.
time.
So I'm
Fabulous.
excited about
Bring it
that.
on.
Again, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you very much for having me
Our
on.
pleasure.
Thanks, Kath.
Thanks.
We're back. I am so excited because for year number 2, we have Dina Rimshaw, who is the owner of Liberty Liquors. She is going to give us some new recipes for holiday drinks.
This year I'm gonna be really careful because when we did it last year, I had to call someone to pick me up because I couldn't drive home after those 2 sips. So what you got?
Well, this year I mixed it up a little bit. We did a chocolate cream pie martini. I think last year we did a peppermint stick martini.
Yes, we
so we're gonna
did.
mix it up a little bit there. And then I made a homemade red sangria that I didn't know how to bring it here, so I found a little
No.
jar and it got some fruit in there, and I'll
Right.
go through the motions and tell you how I made everything.
Okay.
So, do you want to start with the wine, or do you want to start with the martini?
Start with the
Okay.
martini.
So chocolate cream pie martini. We've got vanilla vodka, Absolute. We've got some Godiva chocolate liqueur, and we've also got some delicious rum chata.
What's that?
Rum chata is like a cinnamon cream. It's almost like a Bailey's base.
Oh,
So it's cream
okay,
based,
that's
but it's
new to
more like
me.
a cinnamon.
Delicious.
All right. So let's start again. Usually it's an ounce and a half.
Right.
But as you know, we don't measure. Makes
Okay.
things a little bit more fun that way.
In other words, it's an ounce and a
An
half
ounce
to
and a
5
half.
ounces.
Right.
Yeah.
An ounce. Depending on how
How I
your
like to
wrist
do
is
it,
working
okay.
that day. So you've got the vodka. You've got a little bit of Godiva. That looks like
That's a little bit.
That's a little bit. We're
Okay.
trying to be good today,
Yeah.
right? And then we've got our rum chata. And I think if I remember correctly, last time I shook this too hard and we got the cover stuck. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna do it a little bit lighter this year and hopefully not make a huge mess.
That's an easy drink to make.
Isn't it? That's it. Now, what you can do if you want to like make it more funky, you can throw a little bit of cinnamon on top, a little bit of chocolate syrup, or some whipped cream.
Ooh, whipped cream.
All right?
Delicious.
So
Yeah.
those are some things to make it a little bit more funky. Now let's see if we can do this without making a huge mess. Oh, I think I did that last year, but that's all right. That's for you, young lady.
This is delicious.
And what I usually do at home if I'm serving this, I'll make a picture of it.
Oh,
And
good
that way you
idea.
just put it on ice when you're ready to serve it.
Oh, that makes it really nice and easy.
So cheers. Let's see how this came out.
Ooh, I like this.
Isn't that delicious?
Yes.
You could go a little crazy
Yeah,
with those.
I will.
So that's a great dessert drink if you like.
Oh, that's really good.
And then sangrias. Most times with sangrias, it's you can use red or white. I figured for the holidays, festive is red.
Makes sense.
Wine, any kind of red wine. I usually try to use a Pinot Noir. It's not too dry. It's not too sweet. It's right smack in the middle. Fruits, whatever kind of fruit you want to throw in there.
I like what you told me you put in. Tell everybody what you
I
like.
put in fresh strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, pineapple, and I had some apples, so I chopped those up, threw those right in, and I added, this is the kicker, a little bit of Grand Marnier, some brandy, and a little bit of seltzer water.
Oh, let's try
All right,
this.
so hopefully you won't make a mess with this either, because
Okay.
I have a jar here. And if a little bit of fruit falls in, then you're fine.
Good.
Oops,
Drinks
I
do
did it
smell
again.
delicious.
All right, so you've just got to be careful when you're serving and pouring, but we can Thanks. Cheers.
Okay.
Happy
Cheers
holidays.
again.
To
Happy
good health.
holidays.
Happy and healthy, everybody.
Ooh, this is delicious.
So easy
sangria.
to make too.
I love it. Oh, make this for New Year's, everybody. And now I want to say thank you.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank our audience for being with us for yet another year. And happy 2018. We'll see you in
Yes.
January.
Cheers to good health.